and do not reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
BronxNet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
Hello and welcome to Open, the one and only show that opens the Bronx and the rest of the world right to you. I'm your host, Cristina Pagan, and today we'll update you on what's happening in and around our community and also around the world. Coming up on today's show, we'll continue with our law series A through Z with the letter N in our legal corner. Then find out how you can select an affordable health insurance plan that suits your needs. Plus, find out about an organization working to raise funding to fight breast cancer with a friendly competition. After that, as December approaches, we'll learn about what you can do now to get ready for the month dedicated to peace. And later on, we'll sit down with a Bronx Walk of Fame inductee giving back to his community. So stay tuned. All this and much more is headed your way because we are now officially open. Hello everyone, I'm your host Cristina Pagan, and today is Wednesday, October 9th, 2013. Of course, you are watching Open, the one and only live and interactive program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to your TV set. We want to encourage you to stay connected to us. You can find us on Twitter at BronxNetTV and Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. In today's edition of Legal Corner, we continue with our law series A through Z. Today, the letter is N, as in nursing home liability. We welcome back attorney and legal correspondent David Lesh.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, sir. So tell us, what we're talking about nursing home
We're going to talk a
liability.
little bit about nursing home. The reason I picked nursing homes for the N is that, first of all, I'm involved in a lot of nursing home litigation cases, but I also know just as our population gets older and our life expectancy increases, I think we're somewhere in the mid-70s to late 70s now in terms of how long we're supposed to live. There's a good chance that either you or somebody you know will spend most of their final days of their life in a nursing home. So these types of cases and the issues that happen to the residents are filling the courtrooms right now. And you really have two different ways to approach it. You always have the common law, and you have statutory law. The common law, we're dealing with breach of contract cases, you're dealing with strict liability cases, of course, negligence and medical malpractice cases in the nursing homes, and you also have a statutory avenue that you can take, and that's governed by the Public Health Law 2801D in New York. But they really basically encompass the same thing, the three different types of cases involving nursing home residents. The first one is a failure to ensure safety, physical safety. These are the situations where you have a resident who falls while they're trying to get out of the bed, the bed railings are not up, needs help to get to the bathroom, that can actually fall off the toilet. And remember, when you're that age, or you're at an age when you're in the 70s, 80s, 90s, your bones are very brittle. You have osteoporosis, so there is a very good chance that just a slight movement in the wrong way, you're going to fall and you're going to fracture and you're going to break your hip. Right. Happens all the time. So you need extra supervision in a nursing home if it's you or your grandmother or somebody, your mother or whoever it is, grandfather. So I see many of those types of cases all the time. People who seem to be just falling down in nursing homes, and that's really a physical safety issue, and those seem to be the prevalent types of cases. The second type of cases is really a failure to address a mental state. That's where the particular resident has dementia, Alzheimer's. They'll wander out of the nursing home. The nursing home won't even know that they're gone. They're taken advantage of by other residents, sometimes sexually, many times, because they can't defend themselves. That's a whole different area. So there's physical therapy, there's mental state. And the last type of case that I see more than any other, or as much as any other, is the medical malpractice cases. Those are the cases where there's a dehydration that's not taken care of, malnutrition, not properly fed, Bed sores, that's a big one.
Yeah.
50% of bed sores can be averted. Yes, absolutely.
Just turn someone over.
And that's horrible that that you're getting these types of ulcers and bed sores that really could be prevented. So what ends up happening is, listen, I've seen many types of cases, certainly in Bronx County, where jurors, they're not even slightly interested in being there. They could be automobile accident cases, the type of case where somebody just trips on the sidewalk. But when you have a nursing home liability case and you have somebody who gets hurt in a nursing home or is taken advantage of, you see these jurors, they are paying attention because everybody knows somebody.
And they see themselves, maybe.
That's right. That's their future. Or they have somebody who they know, who they're visiting in the nursing home, and they're like, this is not the way a nursing home is supposed to be run. And guess what? I don't like the way this case is going either. I'm going to really pay attention, and I'm going to stick it to the nursing home. So nursing homes who have their own insurance companies and their insurance company lawyers who come in are very wary of these types of cases, and they know they're up against a big fight because, remember, the resident who's bringing the action, a lot of times he or she can't even speak, can't talk for themselves. They make a very sympathetic witness. Mm-hmm. Their own primary care doctor, who has no allegiance to the nursing home, will come in and absolutely take the stand in their behalf. You know that something's going to come out about how the nursing home is just about making money and not about taking care of the residents. They're overworking their staff. Mm-hmm. That comes out into play, and all these documents end up coming out. So it's an area of the law that is growing. Now, of course, you have to understand the nursing home is going to put on certain defenses and say, look, our record is clean. These statistics that you have in terms of issues, in terms of financially and how much money we're making is skewed in a certain way. But, their best bet is just to show that this particular person was really protected. And, accidents do happen, and not every accident is going to be a lawsuit. Mm-hmm. Not every medical issue is going to be malpractice, should we say. So they do their best to try and put on a defense, but more often than not, these cases are settled because they know that jurors will punish. In compensatory damages and what's called punitive damages is where you're punishing. So compensatory damages, you're giving somebody damages for whatever it is that they've suffered, their pain and suffering, mm-hmm. right? You're not really dealing with any loss of earnings because you're dealing with somebody in a nursing home who really wasn't working. And you have punitive damages, which we're gonna punish. The jury say we're going to punish you.
Those tend to be much higher.
Much higher. Yeah. And many times, even though they appeal the punitive damages, the appellate division will sustain the punitive damages. To make an example mm-hmm. of the nursing home, so all the other nursing homes see we're not going to tolerate this kind of behavior. When there are people who are sitting, in a hallway, everyone in wheelchairs, and there's an odor, and no one's changing the diapers or whatever is going on there, we're not going to let this happen. Mm-hmm. So it's very, very important. Now, the advice that I give to somebody who's looking to put somebody else in a nursing home, they would say, just check out the nursing home and then say that. It doesn't work that way. There's so many things you really should be doing. Yeah. I'm going to go into a couple of things. First of all, a lot of times Medicare.gov, a website, has a 5-star rating program, which will let you know whether
hotels?
Pretty much, will let you know whether that nursing home fits into that category. Mm-hmm. And I've been to over 50 nursing homes in this particular borough, not as a plaintiff's attorney bringing an action, but as what's called a court evaluator. The court appoints me as an evaluator to evaluate those who are incapacitated in nursing homes and make recommendations as to whether a guardian is needed, and sometimes actually be their guardian. So I've been all over the Bronx. I've seen the best, and I've seen the worst. I'm not going to name the best. I'm not going to name the worst. You should go there yourself to figure it out. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you want to look at the nursing home staff data. They have data on staff for you to look at to see if anyone's been disciplined, how many workers there are. That's very important.
Of the list that you have, because we have to wrap up.
You want the most important?
Yeah, the most important
thing. Okay. There's, first of all, go to the nursing home, speak to the doctors, speak to the staff very quickly, and obtain the New York State Department of Health inspection report for the nursing home. Mm-hmm. Look at the inspection report. You'll see if there are any violations. That's the best thing you can do. But if you get hurt or if you think there's an issue, Get to a lawyer quickly because the nursing home is not your friend.
And where can you get that inspection report?
It's the New York State Department of Health. So Google New York State Department of Health. There'll be a link on there for inspection reports for nursing homes.
Great, thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
We have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll sit down with a cancer survivor and founder of an organization helping to fight against cancer. We'll be right back. Thank you so much.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
All right, give me a spot. You know my motto, safety first.
They could be dangerous. I think we should call animal control.
Animal control.
To be safe.
Don't worry.
Just...
I got this. It's a new motto.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Look at me. Hey.
Raymond, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe he can't hear us. Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
Sports, along with a number of community organizations, will come together with a goal to raise awareness and fight breast cancer. Here to tell us more about the event is founder and CEO of EF Sports, Eliu Feliciano, and cancer survivor Denise Mack. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
So you're having this event on October 15th. How did EF Sports get involved, and tell us a little bit about that?
Well, EF Sports is a nonprofit organization geared to empower youth in our community. Every year, we usually do a big event I run a basketball league that's part of EF Sports. Mm-hmm. And what we do is we do a fundraiser, and breast cancer is dear to my heart. So we usually get all these agencies together and do an all-star game, and we raise money for breast cancer.
And Ms. Mack, you are a breast cancer survivor. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience?
Sure. I'm a 10-year breast cancer survivor. I've celebrated 10 birthdays since being diagnosed, thank God. Back in May of 2002, I had a mammogram, and it was normal. Everything was fine. In August of 2002, while I was taking a shower, I felt a small lump on the left side of my breast. And I was like, this isn't anything too serious, because I had a history of lumps. But thanks be to God, something kept nudging me to have that lump checked. And I kept putting it off, but finally in February, I did go to have it checked. And I had a biopsy, and unfortunately it was cancer. So I had a total mastectomy, I had breast reconstruction, chemotherapy, and thank God today I'm cancer-free.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, thank God.
Eliu, so you said that breast cancer is very dear to your heart. Why is that?
My aunt is a breast cancer survivor. My uncle does not have breast cancer, but he has stomach cancer. So cancer is very high in my family. So I just want to go out there and try to bring as much awareness as possible for cancer.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
So, Denise, during your struggle with breast cancer, can you tell us a little bit about your support system with your family and friends?
Oh, I was so blessed. I had such a wonderful support system. I had family, friends, co-workers, acquaintances, neighbors. There was always someone around me when I was going through my journey. When I went for my chemo treatments, I had 2 people with me, side by side. So I was so blessed. So because of all the support that I received and all the love I received, I wanted to give something back to the community. I wanted to help those who are now going through their cancer journey. So that's what I do my volunteer work in.
That's great. And in terms of EF Sports and this event that you're having on October 15th, it's the All-Star basketball game.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
This All-Star game has different agencies involved. NYPD, sanitation, corrections, the Board of Education, school safety, MTA, a lot of public servants.
That's great.
They're getting together. We picked about 2 to 3 members from each agency to put them together on a team and raise as much money as we can at St. Raymond's High School for Boys on October 15th. 2151 St. Raymond's Avenue. I had to plug that in.
Yeah, 2151 St. Raymond's Avenue on October 15th. And all the proceeds are going to the
American Cancer Society. Yes.
So that's wonderful. So you had family, friends, and neighbors, and we have the NYPD and all these other organizations, the FDNY,
right.
and everybody coming together to help with breast cancer. That's fantastic. So why St. Raymond's?
I'm an alumni from St. Raymond's. I actually played basketball at St. Raymond's when I a long time ago.
So let's not talk about how long ago. So can you tell us a little bit about your work with the American Cancer Society and maybe some of your bold buddies from Montefiore?
Sure. When I finished my therapy for breast cancer, after I healed emotionally and physically, I called the American Cancer Society because I knew I had to do something for someone else. And I started volunteering for the Reach to Recovery program. And with that program, I speak to newly diagnosed cancer patients because people have so many fears. And they're able to speak with me and open up with me and feel more relaxed with me because they know I've gone through what they're getting ready to experience. And that's one of the ways that I give back. I also work for the American Cancer Society's Patient Navigation Program. And there I work as a cancer resource volunteer. And I work in the hospital's oncology unit and go around and speak to the cancer patients that's sitting there waiting for their appointments and let them know the different programs that are available. So anyone that needs any kind of support, that has a loved one, or they themselves are experiencing their cancer journey, feel free to call the American Cancer Society. They have a lot of support and a lot of different programs that are available. I also volunteer for the Be Bold Buddy program, and that's with Montefiore Einstein. And there I'm assigned to a patient that is undergoing breast cancer treatment. And I go with them to their treatments. I support them in any which way they need support because each person is different. And I'm just there for them for whatever reason that I can be a help for. So anyone that is interested in that program, please look on the Bold Buddy Facebook page, and they're there to give you assistance.
Have you, when you're doing this volunteer work and you're talking with these people who are waiting in the waiting room, have you been able to connect with them and see some of yourself in them? And
oh, absolutely, absolutely. The fears that they have. Sometimes they're waiting to hear biopsy results. Sometimes they're waiting to be biopsied. And I just try to speak with them and let them know that they'll be all right. They'll get through it.
That's great. So how long have you been doing this All-Star game to raise awareness?
This is actually the second All-Star game. Again, there's 2 major causes dear to my heart. One is breast cancer and the other one's autism. So our next event will be sometime in April for autism.
Okay.
Same scenario with the different agencies trying to raise as much money as we can.
That's great.
We hope to see everyone there at St. Raymond's on October 15th from 6 to 9. You have nothing to do after work. Just come listen to some music and watch some good basketball playing.
Are there going to be any vendors there as well?
No vendors.
No vendors?
No, just basically you come in, small donation at the door, you watch a great basketball game, a nice halftime show.
A halftime show? Who's going to be performing?
We're still working on that. We have some step crews.
That's great.
So hopefully it'll be upbeat, you know.
How long has EF Sports been around?
2 years.
2 years. So you started from the very jump you were on this course. That's fantastic.
Nice.
So what are some of the ways that you also, outside of doing the work inside the hospitals and with these people, help to raise awareness and funding outside of that?
I also volunteer for Making Strides, and that's my passion. So I've been doing that for the past 6 to 7 years, I believe. And I work the registration tent.
Okay.
I also support other people's campaigns,
Mhm.
fundraising campaigns, because fundraising is so important,
Mhm.
because it gives money to research and studies, and it helps people like me.
Mhm. And the Making Strides is coming up, right?
Yes, Sunday, October the 20th, at Orchard Beach.
At Orchard Beach at what time?
I believe it's 9 o'clock, the walk starts.
9 o'clock in the morning. Whoo, buddy.
Yes.
Better get some sleep in.
But come on out.
Are you going to be playing basketball on the 15th, or are you just going to be waiting on the sidelines?
My knees don't hold up as well anymore.
Sure, sure. Are you going to be coaching anything now?
I'm actually going to try to make the event as smooth as possible. So it's a lot to put on my plate. I would love to play. I played 1 year. I
Uh-huh.
got actually nominated to the All-Star game, but
Nice.
not this year.
Not this year.
No.
Any friends going to be playing with you?
Yes, a lot of
friends.
A lot of
and-
friends, a lot of family are going
Does
to
your
the
Does your
event.
aunt come?
She is going to be there. She is actually going to speak.
That's great.
And a couple of other family members that survived also.
Oh, great. I would love to meet them. That's
Yes,
great.
I would love to
Good.
see you there.
Yeah, I will. I will be there. Thank you.
Awesome.
It sounds wonderful and inspiring. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll find out how you can find a health insurance plan that suits you. So stay tuned.
Being a dad can be tough.
No. What do you mean she's not coming?
When's the fairy princess coming?
Any minute now.
But when you're willing to do anything,
It is I, Cruz Zinkorpel. Okay, time for cake.
it's always worth it.
I know it's really you, Drew. I'm just pretending for the other kids.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Barry, time is running out. According to my calculations, 1 in 5 kids in America struggles with hunger. How can so many children face hunger when there's more than enough food to feed them all? You're right, Barry. We can help solve hunger by teaming up with Feeding America to get food to hungry kids in communities across the country.
Help Flint and the Feeding America network of food banks get food to the people who need it in your community. Find your local Feeding America food bank at feedingamerica.org/hunger.
Together, we're Feeding America.
A single ember from a wildfire can travel over a mile. That ember can ignite and destroy your home or community. You can't control where that ember will land. Only what happens before it does. Visit fireadapted.org to learn how you can help protect your community from wildfires.
Hello, welcome back to Open. I'm your host, Cristina Pagan. To ensure Bronx residents have access to vital medical services, Montefiore Medical Center announced its twofold approach to educate and inform the community about health exchange enrollment. Here to tell us more about this approach is Senior Director of Community Relations at Montefiore Medical Center, Roberto Garcia. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you for having me here, and thank you for inviting Montefiore to talk about this important aspect of health. Montefiore is actually celebrating 100 years in the Bronx this coming November, and we're very excited that we're here to talk about this. A lot of people have a lot of questions and are very confused about the Federal Affordable Care Act, known better as Obamacare, and a lot of people feel that they have to change healthcare coverage, they have to change doctors. So basically, I want to lay down, kind of give you an example of exactly what's going on. So in the Bronx, we have about, in general, about 185,000 people that are uninsured. And the important aspect of this is that we want to have people enroll in healthcare coverage so that they can prevent the many chronic diseases that are plaguing the Bronx community and people throughout the city. So those people that are suffering from diabetes, obesity, many of those diseases can be caught early in stages and can be, subsided and can be treated. And so this law is extremely important because it gives access to those individuals who do not have healthcare coverage and who are underinsured. And so individuals can actually go to the New York State Marketplace, better known as the New York State of Health website, and they can actually enroll in healthcare coverage.
Wow. I mean, I know that a lot of people have been confused, like if they already have insurance through their employer, does that mean they have to change? If they're on Medicaid through the state, do they have to change? And the people who are, like you said, underinsured or don't have insurance, what does that mean if they're going to be fined for not having insurance?
Right. So the law does require that everyone in the United States that is eligible for health care does go on to the website and here in New York State, and that is eligible, go onto the website and have health care insurance. If an individual does not have the means because of their financial situation to enroll, there are subsidies that are given to individuals so that they can pick a plan that really can work for them. So a head of household, for example, can go in, plug in the information for the entire family, the income information, also the status of their immigration, and they can get a clear picture of who is eligible in their household for what kind of plan. So there can be a child that is eligible for Child Health Plus. There could be an individual that could be eligible for Medicaid or Medicare. So it all depends on the family dynamic and the income. But if you think about the exchange, you can think about it as going on Orbitz or one of these travel sites where you plug in information, and at the end of the day you have options, whether you go first class or coach, whether you pay for bags. So at the end of the day, all plans that are on the New York State Health Exchange are qualified health plans, and they all have to provide very basic coverage and very important coverage for individuals. So a lot of it is 10 categories of essential benefits that are being provided, which includes ambulatory care, emergency room services, hospitalization, maternity and newborn care, mental health and substance abuse, prescription drugs, rehabilitative services, lab services, preventive and wellness services and chronic disease management, and psychiatric and oral and vision care. So every plan that is on the exchange will offer these basic, has to cover all these things. Now, individuals can choose the type of plan. There's everything from a gold plan to a bronze plan to a silver plan. So there are different plans, and you can think about it as buying a car with options. So if you have the basic options that come with every car, but if you go a little bit higher, and you pay a little bit more per month, you have less of an out-of-pocket expense. So there are different plans that allow individuals to basically select which plan you want and how much money do you want to pay a month. And again, there are subsidies for those individuals that don't have the means to pay for it.
I think that's also like a really hard decision for some people, because all they see is the large sum that they have to pay a month versus how much they pay out of pocket when they go to the doctor.
Exactly, and it's extremely important for individuals to know that even if, regardless of your immigration status, you should still apply, because there is such thing as emergency Medicaid. And it's really important that people just try. All the information that is given to the state is confidential, and it won't be used against anyone for any immigration status issues or deportation or anything like that. So there are checks and balances and guarantees that will not occur. And again, for us at Montefiore and in other health institutions, it's extremely important. That's a lot of people who actually utilize our emergency rooms as primary care shops, and that's not what we want. What we want to do is invest in the individual's health, make sure that these individuals have the proper coverage, do preventive care, and monitor them if there is a situation and treat them before it becomes catastrophic. It's said that three of every five bankruptcies in the United States are caused by people who have expenses in medical care that they can't afford. So they lose their houses, they lose their cars, they lose their savings because they can't afford it. So this law really assists people, and for our community, which unfortunately the borough is bustling with a lot of medical institutions like Montefiore, we have, unfortunately, in the state, the history of being the unhealthiest borough in county, actually, in the state. So we need to change those dynamics, and this will definitely help us do that.
Does Montefiore have a group or a place where people can go they can get assistance?
Well, this is the best thing that individuals can do is, again, go, and I think it's going to be coming up on the screen, is www.newyorkstateofhealth.org. health.ny.gov. And there's also a toll-free number, 855-355-5777. And individuals can get counseling through the New York State Health Exchange. Or there's also these organizations in the Bronx called Navigators, and they can also help with enrollment. And those are counselors that are being that receive funding from the state to actually go ahead and help people navigate the system. And there's one thing I do want to point out, that there's a list of navigators that can be obtained through the website, but there's also agents and brokers that may have a fee that may want to enroll individuals. But people have to be very careful, because there are going to be people that are going to be taking advantage of individuals out there. So we're afraid that folks will say, we'll get you healthcare coverage for, $1,000, one fee, and then people won't be eligible. So unless a person is, unless the agent and brokers are qualified, and you can again get that information on the website, you have to be careful with a lot of fraud. So again, there's a lot of information out there. People have until March 31st. The enrollment started on October 1st. They have until March 31st of 2014 to actually enroll. And if you enroll now, your effective date of health coverage starts January 1st of 2014. And again, everyone has to have it. There are some penalties in the first year, second year, and third year. First year is not as great. It's about $100 per person, and again, it's based on taxes and how much income you have. But everyone should enroll. I mean, who doesn't want low-cost health, care coverage? And that's really important. And you can have everything in the world, but if you don't have your health, you lose everything. So I think it's extremely important for people to reach out to, the healthcare exchange, reach out to the navigators, and make sure that they do have the coverage.
Well, that's great that they have some time in between, because we've all heard about the problems that they've been having with that website.
Oh, absolutely. And there is, and that's a good thing. I think a lot of people have been critical with the state and other exchanges and on the federal side. But at the end of the day, that's a good thing. That means people are anxious, people want to enroll, and there are people out there, like I said, there's over 185,000 people here in the Bronx without healthcare coverage. So we have to get, those folks healthcare coverage and make them healthy and keep them healthy.
Thank you so much for joining us. We have to take a quick break, but coming up, we will sit down with a Bronx Walk of Fame inductee, Chaz Palminteri. So stay where you are. We'll be right back.
Sir, are you okay?
Everything's fine. Thanks.
You wouldn't ignore this, so why ignore the signs of a stroke? Call 911 immediately, because time lost is brain lost.
Bronx born and raised, this Italian-American multi-hyphenate, mostly known for his film roles in The Usual Suspects and Analyze This, joins us to talk about the one-night-only remounting of his seminal work, A Bronx Tale, to raise money for the Child Reach Foundation. We welcome 2011 Bronx Walk of Fame inductee, Mr. Chaz Palminteri. Welcome, sir.
It's good to be here.
So can you tell us a little bit about how you got your show here at Lehman College?
I was on Broadway with it. I brought it back to Broadway in 2008, and it was a big hit on Broadway. And then I did the national tour, and the last stop was Las Vegas, Nevada. And I did Vegas, and I became Show of the Year there. And then I just decided that I would do, 10 to 15 dates a year after that. So I still do my 20, 25, maybe 20, 25 dates a year now. And I belong to I started the Child Reach Foundation with my wife, Jonna, and Phil Foley, my friend. And we decided that, I said, what I'd like to do? I want to do something special for the Bronx. So I thought about doing my Broadway show in the Bronx, because I don't think a Broadway show has ever been done in the Bronx. Right. So I wanted to do it at Lehman College. My friend Phil Foley went here. And he said we could do it at Lehman College, where I graduated from. And I said, that sounds great. And we decided to come here. We met Dante. And I'm going to do the show here and donate all of the proceeds to my foundation, the Child Reach Foundation, which helps people with Cooley's anemia, which is a disease that affects Latinos, Italians, Mediterraneans, Greeks, and also to help police officers, law enforcement, police officers with children with special needs. I thought that was really important. So the whole box office I'm going to donate to the Child Reach Foundation.
Can you tell us a little bit about the beginning of the Child Reach Foundation, how you came up with it?
Yeah, that started about 15 years ago. Again, my friend Phil Foley asked me to, they were looking for an Italian-American celebrity, and they asked me, and I said, well, I didn't even know what Cooley's anemia was at the time. But I met these kids and they broke my heart, and wow, you fall in love with these kids who have the disease. And I did it for the first year, and I just got to know these kids, and I did it, it's now 15 years, and we raised over $1 million.
Wow.
So, you know what? It's good to give back and to help out.
That's wonderful. And do you have a base here in the Bronx, or is it, where is the foundation based?
The foundation is actually, what I did was I didn't want any fat on the foundation. I have one person who works on it, and all the proceeds, like I said, I didn't want to start paying people and traveling. And you get a lot of these charities there. 15% goes to the charity, the rest goes for the organization to keep everybody running. I wanted 100% to the charities. I want all the money go to the kids. So I have one person on staff, and that's how I do it.
That's fantastic. So you're remounting the show here at Lehman, and it's been 25 years? How long has it been since you began the run of the show?
Well, I first did it in 1989, and that's what made me a star. A lot of people don't realize the Bronx, they think the movie came first, but no. The play came first in 1989 when I first did it, and Robert De Niro saw it, and that's how the movie got made, and that's what made me a star. Then I brought it back in 2008 on Broadway, and it became a huge hit again. And now I've been doing, like I said, 20-25 dates a year since 2008.
And how has it changed for you doing it from 1989 to 2013?
Well, it got better because when I first did it, I wasn't a father, and I related more from the boy to the father. Now I relate from the father to the boy because I have a 17-year-old son. I have two children, my son Dante and my daughter Gabriella. And I'm married now to my wife Jana, so it's richer, it's deeper, it's better.
I mean, it is your autobiographical story.
It's my life, yes.
So, I mean, since you've changed from relating to it as a child to a father, and now from the father to the child, do you sympathize more with your father now?
Absolutely. I realize what my father was telling me when he kept telling me the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. I tell my son that all the time, and I tell my daughter that.
And I read that you refused to sell the rights to the play unless you got to do the screenplay.
Right, I refused to sell it. I would not sell the rights. And they offered me $250,000 when the reviews came out. Then they offered me $500,000 about 3 weeks later, and I had $200 in the bank. And then they offered me $1 million. This is 1989. And I refused. And then Robert De Niro walked into the theater, saw the show, and the rest, as they say, is history.
And how did you feel about being involved in that process? I know that you were involved in acting, behind the scenes and everything. How do you feel that the movie captured something maybe different from what you portrayed on stage?
Actually, the movie is exactly like I did the one-man show. It's the play. The words, it's... For the people who want to come and see the show, October 17th, we're doing it here at Lehman College. Again, all the proceeds go to the Child Reach Foundation. You'll see what really was the impetus for the movie, was the kernel and the germ for the movie.
And about what is on your plate now that you're doing in your career? What is your most important aspect?
Oh, God. Well, I just finished doing movies and obviously television. I'm doing Blue Bloods, the show Blue Bloods with Tom Selleck, and I've done Modern Family. I'm going to be going back on there, which is a great show.
Yes.
And I'm on Rizzoli and Isles. And I've written another play called Human that's going to go to Broadway. That's 5 people. So between my movies and television and my writing and my charity foundation, I'm pretty busy.
And how do you relate to Broadway versus being in television or film?
Well, it's just different. It's a different set of muscles. I love doing theater. I started out in theater, and I always like to go back at it, doing it because it's like aerobics to me. It's like the real nuts and bolts of being an actor.
Has anybody ever talked to you about doing a sequel to A Bronx Tale?
All the time, and I won't do it. I just won't do it because the first 17 years of my life were really interesting. After that, I don't think it's interesting to my life was not that interesting after that. I made it, and it's not that different. But the first 17 years were pretty different.
In 2011, you were inducted into the Bronx Walk of Fame.
Yeah.
And what was that like for you?
Well, that was great because I'm a Bronx-born and bred person, and here am I getting a street with my name on it, and it was right near Yankee Stadium, which I'm a big Yankee fan. Everybody knows that, and so it was pretty nice.
How's the Bronx changed from when you were a boy to now?
Well, my neighborhood has changed. It was all Italian when I was young, and now it's more gentrified, which is the good thing, I think. You know, there's more Latinos and Afro-Americans and Russian and Armenians, and but that one street is still very Italian. I don't know, that one street, Arthur Avenue, is just an amazing street. I go there all the time, and I go shopping there, and I go to Gino's Pastry Shop, and Jerome, who's the cannoli king. If anybody wants cannolis, go to Gino's Pastry on 187. I'm telling you, the greatest cannolis in the world. And I go to Casa Mozzarella and Mike's Deli and the great restaurants, Roberto's and Rigoletto's. Great restaurants there, great food. And like I said, Casa Mozzarella, the best mozzarella in the whole world. And I still go there and I go shopping.
How do you feel that your upbringing here in the Bronx has shaped you as a person and changed your outlook maybe on life at all?
I appreciate things. I'm grateful for things. And I always tell people, growing up in the Bronx, I came from a family with not a lot of money. My father, Lorenzo, was a bus driver. My mother was a seamstress. I had a dream. They told me the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. And they kept driving me and telling me, don't waste your life. And I just was determined not to waste my life, and that's what happened.
How do you feel that about kids coming up today? We have a room full of students who are aspiring in media. What would you say to them?
I would say to go for it. I would say it doesn't matter where you're from or how much money your family has or what school you went to. I mean, you know, the human mind, we always make excuses. Oh, I didn't go to Yale, I didn't go to Harvard, I'm not that smart, I'm not that pretty, I'm too heavy, I'm not attractive. Don't let anything stop you. Because if you have it in your heart to do something, you have to do it. You have to be courageous. I always tell these kids, I said, you could be courageous or you could be comfortable. But you can't be both. You want to be courageous, you're going to be uncomfortable. You're going to feel insecure at times. You're going to feel inhibited. That's good. That's a good feeling. You're going to feel scared. That's a good feeling. When you feel scared and you feel fear, say to yourself, I'm growing. When you're too comfortable, that means you're not growing.
Right.
And do the right thing in life. And I tell these young kids, I tell them, life is like dominoes. When you hit the dominoes going in the wrong way, everything bad happens to you. You hang out with drugs, you hang out with kids who take drugs, you get in a car where the guy's stoned, anything bad could happen to you. Anything. You do the right thing, good things, the dominoes fall in the good direction. It's really simple. I had a person who we gave the break of a lifetime to, Lilo Brancato. Lilo Brancato, he starred in Bronx Tale. We auditioned 3,000 people, and we found him on the beach, on Jones Beach, walking out of the water. He became the star of Bronx Tale. And what did he do? He threw it all away. Why? Because he didn't listen to me. I said, you were in the quintessential movie about not wasting your life. And what did you do? You wasted it. He could have been Leonardo DiCaprio today. Right. But he hung out with the wrong people. He had no discipline. He had no drive. He had no foresight to think of the future. And now he's in an 8x12 cell with a toilet for the past 8 years.
Right.
So I want all the young people out there to listen to me about this. If you want to be successful, don't listen to your friends who want to get high and steal, rob, drink, get stoned and get in a car. Walk out of that car. Do the right thing, because you'll be a success. You want to go to Yale or you want to go to jail? It's up to you. You don't have to go to Yale, but you know what? Do the right thing. Listen to your professors and teachers.
That's wonderful advice. Now, the Child Reach Foundation, you've met with some of these kids that you're
I meet with them every year.
Every year?
Every year. When we started the foundation, the Cooley's anemia, the kids lived to be 20 years old. If you found somebody who lived to be 20, that was a miracle. Now they're living to be 40 and 50 and beyond. So we're making great strides. And I know this disease could be absolutely gone in my lifetime. But it's like an orphan disease. You know, it doesn't get the money that cancer gets and AIDS gets and a lot of the other diseases get, which rightly so, which they do. But Cooley's anemia is real and it's there, and we could stamp it out in our lifetime.
What's a story that you've heard from one of these kids that you've helped that really touched you?
Well, that's a good question. I was doing, one of the years we were having our event at Tavern on the Green, and I was leaving and I was jumping in the limo after I did the event. And a mother came over to me and she had a boy who was about 10 or 11. And I could tell he had the disease because he was very yellow. And he came over to me with his mother and she says, "My son wants to talk to you, Mr. Palminteri." And I said, "Sure." And I kind of bent down and I said, "What is it?" And he said, "I just want to thank you for all the help that you do for me and all my friends." That's all he said. I don't know, for some reason he got me. You know, I started to well up inside and I said, "Oh, that's okay." And then he'd like hug me. You know, I can't even talk about it now because he put his arms around me and hugged me and I hugged him. And it was very emotional. And I kissed his mother and I said, "God bless you both." And I got in the car and I was just about to pull out and she ran over to the window and she knocked on the window and I put the window down and she said, "Mr. Palminteri, I just found out that your kids don't have Cooley's anemia. Why do you do this?" And I said, "That's why I do it. Because I have healthy children and I'm grateful." And she says, "Thank you." And I said, "It's okay, thank you." And I tell people out there that when you have a chance to help and to serve, you should do that, especially if you have a lot. If you're great, and if you have healthy children, or you have some money, extra money, or you have your health, you have to go out there and serve. That's what God put us here for, is to help our fellow man. I don't want to be idealistic, but I was born in a family with poverty, and when God blessed me, I tried to help the other kids and try to help them. Because every life you save is not just a life. That life becomes a human being, and that person has a family, and that person has other families. So you're helping a universe. You're not just helping one soul. So I tell everyone to go out there and give to charities. Come see my show if you like. All the proceeds go to my charity. If not, give to other charities. Donate your time to charities. Do whatever you can do.
Can you tell us again when the show is happening?
The show is October 17th at Lehman College here. I'm doing it here. I think it's at 8 o'clock. And 100% of the proceeds go to the Child Reach Foundation.
Have you heard from that child again, or was that the one?
I still see that child.
You still see him?
He's alive. He's doing well. And maybe one day he'll have a family, and God rest his soul, and, you know, God bless him.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you. And I just want to say that if people want tickets, they can go on brownpaperticket.com and get tickets for the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with more Open.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Welcome back to Open. Although December is 2 months away, the deadline for a variety of events is right around the corner. Here to tell us more about this celebration is Peace December Coordinator Sheikh Musa Drummer. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, thank you.
It's been a while since you've been on the show.
Absolutely.
So can you tell us a little bit about these events that people have to sign up for Peace December?
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for having me. Fourth time. You know, Peace December is an annual monthly peace promotion right here in the Bronx. We're trying to at least play a part in reducing the level of violence and crimes in our society. And, you know, individuals such as myself and many other leaders came together 4 years ago and decided that since December is a month of celebration, it's a holy month, it's a month of Christmas, it's the ending of the year, it's the best month to promote peace. And when we say promoting peace, we're promoting peace, meaning that there's no domestic violence, No gang violence, no hate crimes violence, no societal violence, period. We want people to live in peace and harmony in the month of December.
And how has that been going? This is the 4th year that you're doing this. How have you seen a change?
It has been one of the most successful peace-promoting endeavor here in the Bronx. Last year, more than 100 organizations hosted Peace December events in various capacities. You know, we advise people, even if it's a couple, that just renew their vows in the month of December, you know, so that they can at least, you know, strengthen their relationships. At least that will eliminate the need for fighting and domestic violence. So it's been very successful. And I want to also thank our partners. You know, the Borough President from day one is very supportive. And, you know, Robert Johnson, our Bronx DA, is one of the founding partners. And Ruth Hazel Thompson, you know, the state senator right here in the Bronx, also one of the founding partners. And Gustavo Rivera and Annabelle Palmer. These are our leaders who are very supportive of Peace December, and I expect no less this year from them.
So what I see in my information here that the Peace December lighting ceremony is November 30th, which is a little bit more than a month away. What other kind of events are coming up?
What we're doing now is we are preparing a calendar of events. We want to have a calendar of events from December 1st all the way to December 31st. Organizations, the churches, and house of worships, and schools, and ordinary people, employers, anybody who is planning to host Peace December, we need to know it now so that we can compile a one calendar of events for the month of December. And we will select the 31 events out of all the submissions to highlight them in our paper calendar so that when people come Saturday, November 30th, to the Peace December lighting ceremony, they will walk out with paper calendars knowing, you know, where the events are taking place, who's hosting them, what type of events are they. Because some people may be only interested in gang prevention. Some may be interested in domestic violence awareness. Some may be interested in hate crimes prevention. Whatever your needs are, there will be in the calendar an event where you can attend and perhaps meet the experts and ask questions. In terms of the lighting ceremony, it's Saturday, November 30th. It's from 12 to 6 p.m. We'll provide entertainment. We'll provide all kinds of you know, speeches dedicated to peace and nonviolence. We'll have experts that deals with gang situation, domestic violence, hate crimes and violence. We'll have NYPD. We'll have the mayors, the police commissioner, elected officials. We'll have ambassadors. You know, we'll have even domestic violence, you know, victims and perpetrators at the same, you know, place. Because every year we did the same thing. We have perpetrators coming on stage apologizing for the crimes they committed in the past. So it will be a very, very impactful day, November 30th.
How has the movement grown from the first year till now?
The movement started right here in the Bronx because in 2010, even though crime was continuing to go down, but hate crimes were picking up. You know, individuals who had nothing to do with the attackers were attacked because of their choices or who they were. So we decided that it's not only the law enforcement who's responsible for keeping us safe, but we are the one who commit crimes. We're the perpetrators. So we're the one to stop crime. So that's why we started. We did it only at the Borough President's office at the Rotunda. Last year, as I said, over 100 organizations, 2 countries. In Pakistan, in Islamabad, a Peace December ceremony was held for day long. This year, a chapter is opening in Egypt and Bangladesh. And for the first time this year, the United Nations is hosting a Peace December celebration with ambassadors present. So we have the Israeli ambassador and the Muslim ambassadors coming together at the table to talk about peace and nonviolence. So we're growing, and the same hip-hop growth out of the Bronx is what Peace December also is going to follow suit. So we invite everybody, you know, to come and join us. So I brought this because this year in the Bronx, we're promoting renewing the vow because we know that most of the problems, unfortunately, in New York City is caused by broken homes. People who promise to love you, to protect you, to be there, And when you go home, they hurt you, they kill you, they beat you, whatever. We want in Peace December, whatever day you pick a day and look at your spouse or significant ones and say how lucky you are to be with him or her, so that at least you begin to reduce tension. At least you begin to promote, a family value. And from there, children who come out of, very strong household, loving, caring, peaceful, do well in school, commit less crimes, and become leaders. Most of these juvenile crimes stems out of broken homes, which is unfortunate. So we want everybody to get a rose to your loved ones so that they know how much you love them and they know how peaceful it is to be with you and how satisfying it is for the relations that they have, so that the kids will grow to be leaders.
That's great. Is there going to be an event maybe where people can go to renew their vows? Maybe a giant gathering of people who would like to renew vows, or? It would be great if you have a public event. Awesome.
Yeah, maybe that's on the work. But what we really need is we need to have this done individually. However, we ask, if you go to our website, we ask individuals who are giving flower and the ones who are receiving flowers to briefly summarize their experience with that moment. How does it feel to really be loved again, be respected again, be valued again? And, how nice it is to feel, to have that feeling. Just summarize it and send it to us so that we can compile a catalog of positive events taking place in the Bronx. Because the media, not BronxNet, but the mainstream media, all they promote is violence. They will profile a perpetrator from now until eternity. People write books about a crime. They play movie about a crime. But there are millions of good people doing good things every day, and nobody ever know. So what we need is just share with us the experience so that we can catalog them so people can go there and perhaps duplicate it and also share it with their loved ones.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure coming into your homes. I'd like to thank our guests for joining us and you, the viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any part of today's show, you can catch the Recablecast at 10 p.m. on Cablevision Channel 67 or Fios 33, or watch anytime on the web at bronxnet.org. Have a great week, and don't forget to keep your heart, your mind, and most of all, this channel wide open. Peace.
Hi, I'm Ruben Diaz Jr. I'm not just the Bronx Borough President, but I'm a father and an uncle. I can't emphasize enough how important it is for men and fathers to be a part of their children's lives. Let me talk to you about a program that's come out of my office, the Bronx Fathers Taking Action Committee, which is a committee of Bronx fathers and men formed to help uplift the institution of fatherhood while responsibly respecting the privilege of being a dad. Our mission statement is to engage, empower, educate, and encourage fathers, grandfathers, and uncles of all ages by providing them with the resources and help that they need in order to build new relationships with the leaders in our community. Ultimately, this initiative will help reinforce Bronx men as positive role models. So, I just want to take the time out to encourage fathers, grandfathers, uncles, men of all corners of the Bronx to take an important role in the lives of the children in your family and in our community, and also to get involved in this uplifting committee.
Good job, Theo.
Thank you.
Let's start it again, Theo.
All right.
You wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heat